But right now we begin in Israel, where grief is fueling anger after the killing of 6 hostages in Gaza. Hundreds of thousands took to the streets again yesterday, accusing their government of stalling on a ceasefire deal to bring the hostages home. Last night, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu offered no apologies, no signs of a deal, instead remaining focused on payback against Hamas. Imtiaz Tayeb is following the unrest in Tel Aviv. Imtiaz, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. A lot of pain and a lot of anguish here in Israel as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continues to push back against massive pressure to agree to a ceasefire and hostage release deal with Hamas following the killings of 6 captives in Gaza, including 23-year-old Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg Poland.
The grief and anger is raw and unforgiving, as tens of thousands of Israelis took to the streets for a second night to demand Prime Minister Netanyahu bring an end to the war in Gaza and free the remaining captives.
The fury here is on a scale not seen before, with protesters blaming the killings of the 6 hostages squarely on Netanyahu.
He's ruining the country. He divides us in order to keep his control.
In what appeared to be a rare act of contrition, Netanyahu addressed the nation, asking for forgiveness. But his tone quickly shifted, saying he would not give in to pressure, and in what some are describing as a lecture, insisted Israel must retain control of the Philadelphia corridor, a narrow strip of land along Gaza's southern border with Egypt he says is used to smuggle weapons, an allegation both Egypt and Hamas deny, with Hamas saying there will be no deal unless Israeli forces withdraw. Speaking to reporters, President Biden was clear Netanyahu isn't doing enough to end the war.
Mr. President, do you think it's time for Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more on this issue? Do you think he's doing enough?
No.
On Monday, thousands gathered in Jerusalem to say their last goodbyes to Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg Poland.
Hersh, we failed you. We all failed you.
Finally, my sweet boy, finally, you're free.
Goldberg Poland's body was recovered from a Gaza tunnel alongside the remains of the 5 other hostages. Initial autopsies found all were shot dead within days of being found. And as the war on Gaza rages on, at least 8 Palestinians were killed in an Israeli strike while they were trying to buy bread, according to health officials. And as the UN's campaign to vaccinate 640,000 Palestinian children against polio continues.
And Prime Minister Netanyahu's address to the nation has been slammed by the opposition leader Yair Lapid, who called it unfounded political spin and said Netanyahu's insistence Israel's security relies on its forces remaining in the Philadelphia corridor has, and I'm quoting here, Gayle, no relation to reality.
It's all very, very, very troubling and upsetting. Thank you very much, Imtiaz Tayeb, reporting from Tel Aviv.